Ta-ta.
My bad.
Ladies
Sorry.
and gentlemen, I want to do
Go
this.
ahead.
I'm just going to do this just for people can see it. Wait a minute, hold on. Um, that we have now have been. Uh, nope, that's not gonna work. Nah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, nope, that's not gonna work either. Well, I'm sure butchering it. That's why it's called live. Oh, it's not gonna even work with us on that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
Go ahead.
we
Go
will
with
have
the
to take
intro.
us. Hold on. We'll have to take off. Ta-ta. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Clem Call Show.
Dude, what's your enthusiasm? I know you're tired, but what's your
No,
enthusiasm?
it's just that I kept butchering how I wanted to switch it.
Come
I
on,
kept
redo the
butchering
intro.
it.
It has to be
Anyway,
better. Come on, man.
amateur, amateur. Well, once we started, we don't want to go through that whole thing, and then you get lost in the rabbit hole, and then we can't find each other again.
True.
So
I'm not trying to get down the rabbit hole today. I'm just gonna
we're
try to
not
bring
doing
straight
that. We're
facts
not doing that.
today.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna try to
we're
bring
not
straight
doing
facts
that.
today.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. Yeah, but
Without further ado, go ahead.
on second and fourth Mondays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 Central, 6:30 Pacific, and Zulu is like midnight.
Correct.
No. 5 hours. Oh, 2:30 a.m. like
There
Zulu.
you go.
2:30
Wow.
Zulu.
2:30
So
Zulu. And for
yeah,
you European people, that will be 4:30 in the morning for you guys
for
in
some of them.
England. For some of y'all, and some other people, 5:30 in the morning for you, for you who are even further than that.
May-
Uh,
Maybe having the breakfast drink, passion fruit. Yes.
as of right now,
Or some
people, there's
men.
not much. Yeah, there's not much to report. Like we said, if you were seeing our show 2 weeks ago, it's the same stuff. Except that the only difference is
Yeah.
one is on Gumroad,
Colorado
one
lost.
of them's on Colorado got smashed. We'll talk about that later. And if you watch the what you call it, if you stay tuned, well, you ain't gonna be there. We'll talk about that one, so it don't matter. Let's see. As everybody knows, the fight between Bella and Nadia is on Gumroad. I did watch it. I know a lot of people have not watched it. Well, I don't know if you watched it, but I know a lot of people watch it. Let's just say one of them got smashed. Leave it at that. I'm saying no more. By the video, it is very short. It has some stuff that's made it longer than it should. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
The interviews have made the video longer than it was. And as we always say, all fights are not the same. As we always say, disclaimer. So
So did this end up being like one of those SoCal videos where the interviews is like the tape is 21 minutes long, the interviews are 14 minutes. Each
the
girl gets
interviews
7 minutes apiece. I'm just saying that as in jest. That's all.
and just yeah, you could say that. You could say that. I will say that both girls got interviewed as per Sweet Five's custom, as everybody knows. And of course, there's an intro. But yeah, you're right. You could say it's a SoCal fight. You could say that pretty much.
I
You
mean, I
could
like
definitely say
SoCal
that.
fights. I mean, it's good. It's short to the point. The realism is on 10. But some of the girls in SoCal, I just don't understand how they throw all these blows and like they don't. At least more often than not, they don't seem to be worse for wear. I'm like,
Well said. Well said.
we know people that try to play fight and they get hurt. They get more nicks and bruises than that. I'm like, wait, hold on, what's going on? Well, it was just I don't know. Especially Mary, I never understood that.
Yes. And by the way, Sweet Fight had not that was his latest. His latest fight was his latest fight involved Zia. What's her name? I forgot her name.
Zoe, um,
Oh,
Ziva,
I forgot her
Ziva
name.
Pay, Ziva Pay.
Zia Fave. Yep, her latest fight
Mhm.
included Zia Fave. His latest fight included Zia Fave. Her opponent we do not know. We'll have to find out later.
Never heard, never heard
But
of her.
I never heard of her. I've never seen her either. But according to what we saw in the pics, it looks pretty good. So we'll see. Right. I can't read too much into that. but we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Other than that, not much actually going on. Very, very. As we said before, and we said it 2 weeks ago. This is the time of the year where we get to like October, November, when things start to dry out and people are doing their own customs and all that other stuff. Oh, I forgot one thing.
All right.
Kitty Claus came out. I forgot one. This is your girl. I'm gonna let you talk about her.
Now I'll let you start. You talking about the
For,
fight?
yeah, for
I
people
got
who
to
do
look
not,
up something.
yes, for people who do not know, our friend of the show, Miss Reagan
Friend of the
Kennedy,
show,
aka Kyla Arjanet. Anyways, she
aka
yeah, she brought one of those fights, as Claus would say, out of the can. I'm sure this fight was a few weeks ago, but she's been setting it up. Now it's on Gumroad, and it involves another friend of the show, Miss Peyton Rhodes, friend of the show,
mm-hmm.
and she's going up against another fairly new
should be
rookie,
friend of the
and
show.
should be friend of the show, Lynn LaRue. And all I can say is looking at the previews, I haven't bought the fight. I know it's $30. That's actually a reasonable price, reasonably priced
Reasonable
considering
price.
this is we're talking about two. This is not two rookies. This is actually two people who are pretty experienced, or in Len LaRue's second fight. So I would like to. I think I asked her a question to the fact of how she thought the second fight went compared to her first one. For people who don't know, she fought against Reagan in her first fight.
Well,
That's also on the page on the Kitty Claus Gumroad page. And as everyone knows, Reagan, sorry, not Reagan, Payton's had quite a lot of cat fights recently. I mean, in the past. As we all know, she fought against Reagan more than once. She's gone up against people like
patient, patient.
Patience, definitely. So yeah, all we can say is she said for fans
Wait,
who like all the stuff and the cat fights, this fight was one of them.
Peyton is almost in the running for being a cat fighter of the year for the rate she on.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you.
She get one more. She about being the running. Yeah. So, which she's making up for lost time. Cause remember, Peyton had been sidelined, a couple of years ago. We didn't even know if she ever was gonna come back, or
True.
much less be effective. So to see what is at now, it just everything is gravy after this point.
I agree with you. It's true. It is a miracle after what happened to her that, like you said, at some point it looked like she wasn't, we didn't even know if she was going to, at some point. So yeah, it's crazy. It's mad. But yeah, my thing as usual, as I'm going to say, is make sure you support the cat fight producers, support the cat fighters themselves, because people, it takes a lot of work for these things to happen. Minor miracles every day.
One
The village
thing,
idiots need to understand that. The village idiots need to understand that you can't get what you want, people. You gotta do. You got. If you don't like the fight, don't buy it. Simple.
one thing I think I would like to try to do,
Mhm.
as we get more with this Clem and Claude show thing, one doing the calendar because we've talked about doing the calendar, we never got around to it, having the fight
Yep.
calendar, and I think the other thing we need to do is, and this is where ironically I talked to uh, Reagan Kennedy earlier today
Hmm.
about maybe having a list, a Gumroad page list of like everybody who's in the fight game to have a Gumroad page because at this point it's almost hard trying to keep track of who have what and who don't. And then if they do have one, what is it? You know.
Correct.
So I
Correct.
mean now it's gotten to the point now. If you do not have a Gumroad page by now, it doesn't even matter how many fights you got on it. If you do not have a Gumroad page by now, they're not even so.
You're not relevant. Sorry,
Yeah, they're
people.
not relevant.
Clips for sales, as everybody knows, takes about what 40 or 50% of your profit, pretty much.
For some people, I've been told it's been up as high as 60. So
Ooh,
low as 40, as high as 60.
oof. I'm not trying to disparage clips for sale. I'm just saying that Gumroad is lower quality. I mean, at least
Lower
price wise,
overhead,
is lower
lower
overhead.
overhead,
Exactly.
lower overhead, lower overhead. Um, Things of that nature. So we're just gonna keep knocking on wood that they won't have any bubble bursts. But talking with before the show, I had a long talk with text chain back and forth with Colin. This is probably gonna be most of the meat of anything I got to say for today. because I was looking around trying to see if anybody was willing to come on the show today. And so with Kyla, we talked about the number one thing. We actually got on started talking about Heels, the show Heels, how
Mm,
Variety put out today that that show is not going to be no longer.
renewed.
Is going to be canceled. And Kyla is
Oh,
actually in one of the episodes.
yes,
She's
she
actually,
is.
yeah, she's in one episode. So if you follow social media, it'll have all that on there, right? Um, so the thing about it is, one of the things that she mentioned, and she said I could use it with permission. We talked about today. The number one question I get asked mostly is, why are there not more BBWs um, um, in cat fighting or in the
Mm,
fight game?
mm, mm,
And my answer has always been, well, I don't really, I'm not a woman, so I really can't say. And then two, I haven't been informed, you know, as to why
mm,
they don't fight, or they don't like to fight, or how hard it is to find them to fight. Um,
mm.
this is not the case in some other races. In some other races, you know, it's okay. I'm a big girl. Okay, whoop to do. So what? I'm in another big girl. We're gonna throw hands and we're gonna scrap. But
Mm,
in the African American culture, that's not the case. And
mm.
so I was going back and forth with Kyla about it. And I was trying to, when you were logging on earlier, Clem, I was trying to log into my messenger so I could just pull it in and share the screen.
Oh,
But
okay.
since that's not working, I'm just gonna just read it off the phone.
That's fine. I'm glad you brought
Um,
this up because we have nothing to talk about anyways. So
right,
go
yeah.
right ahead.
Um, so I'm gonna just see. Yeah, so I was saying how so how the number one reason why she's given, because like she's done the same thing, approach, you know, other ladies, big and tall and big and beautiful, however you want to call it. Number one issue she's given was, she said that they're self-conscious. um
I agree.
and I push back a little bit on that because I know skinny girls are self-conscious. I know plenty of people who's self-conscious about it, regardless, you know, regardless.
True. True.
I said it's got to be more than that. She said, and this is her quote. She said, most of the time, when you speak to big women about anything involving skimping clothing or nudity, no matter how confident they may seem, their first go to is, quote unquote, if I had your body or if I was smaller, I'd do it. That's
Yep.
enlightening.
Yep.
Um, she said, if I had $1 for every time bigger girls just randomly would be like, if I had your body, I wouldn't wear clothes either. Or if I had your body, I'd be a stripper. If I had your
True.
body, you know, blank, insert whatever they think they look better in a smaller body doing. She
Right.
said, if I had $1 for all of every time I've heard that, I would have been able to retire before I even started. I
Right.
said, wow. I said, on God, as the kids say now. And then she said, or the infamous, God knew not to ever let me get a body like yours because I wouldn't know how to act.
Mm.
And for reference, for those of y'all that may be watching the show for the first time, Kyla, Reagan is 5'4", no 5'3", like 115 pounds, maybe.
Maybe
So
120
petite
on a good day.
on a good day, 120. You know, after she had some crawfish and some crayfish and some shrimp, so it might be 120. Um, yeah, she said that. Um, let's see. Yeah, so and then she just goes into mentality of how um you know, you got some that be mad if when you eat more, like if she's somebody like her size eat more than them and still be smaller than them, they get mad and yeah. So and then she goes into like some of the other like mental spots as to why, you know, how sometimes they'll be self conscious and then they'll let them breed into jealousy and then it's like okay, you know,
Mm.
it can go really, really deep. But yeah, but the biggest thing is a lot of them is self-conscious. They try to use the way the excuse. But then when you run up against somebody like say a Feisty or or Sage the wrestler or our other friend that's in Oklahoma, uh,
Oh, Sasha,
Sasha.
Sasha Steele. Yep.
Yeah. So when you run across them, it's like now what? You know. Now you can't say that. Oh well, if you wanted to do it, you're gonna do it. You know. It's just that. You know. Okay. So
That's a good
they
topic
come
they
in
brought
as
up. Good topic with the BBWs, man. It's not just only catfighting. Wrestling is just as much. It's the same thing. You think it'll be easier in female wrestling, but it's just as same problem as catfighting. Catfighting is just worse because there's a lot of girls that are self conscious and they feel like, you know, I'm looking
yeah.
for a word. I can't think
I
of the word I'm
mean,
looking for.
I wonder how much of it is also because even when you look at like I'm looked at just looking at the just WWE, the wrestling promos and all that, you see almost the same ratio as fit athletic girls versus bigger girls, and it's like you need to have that range and that balance, because in the
Right.
men's game they're all over the place. You got people like almost Osmo, Omos. You got people from
Omas.
Omas. You got people from Omasa side all the way um, um, to Wanza. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And everybody's in the middle, fit somewhere in the middle.
Mm,
The women, it seems like everything is more pushed. At one point, like sometimes with some of the newer girls when they first come out, I have no idea who they are. Like what is it about you that I can tell you apart? You know what I'm saying?
correct.
Everybody can't be 5'5", can't be 5'5", 135, 140 pounds. I need some Nia Jacksons. I need some. I know she used to go by Dewdrop, but now I think she go by her real name now, Piper Niven.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I need some. I know my dad feels otherwise, but I digress. I need some like a Raquel Rodriguez. Somebody that just
Yep. Yep.
look like see about bench table. You just need something different. Even when you gave me Shayna Baszler, like I love the whole Shayna Baszler, and what was the other girl, the one that was supposed to be Trish Stratus protege? Um,
Oh.
oh, she fought her like last week. That was a good match because you got two girls, both of them. If you really look at it, and then the cut mode of like a Natalia Neidhart,
Yep.
kind of, you know, they could go. They ain't afraid of no contact. They be like the third baseman in softball.
Yep.
That ball is
Yep.
coming. They ain't scared of it. All right, cool.
Yep.
I'm putting it on third. Yeah. So
Yep. But yeah, this is a good topic that you and Reagan brought up. I know it was fairly long, but you know what? It's a good thing you brought it up. It does need to be
yeah,
talked about. It
yeah,
does
because
need to be
it was
talked
just
about.
something that we was like, man, what is this? It's got to be something better than this. Got to be something more. So yeah. So that's yep.
Do you feel? I mean, do you feel? I know. I'm asking a impossible question. I know we talked about the future of catfighting and all that stuff, and we were hoping for like the new girls to step up. Do you think that they're more? Is it more of? Are they willing to try, or are they just trying to find? You know, is it more of a I don't want to put myself out there because I'm this and all that stuff with the advent of OnlyFans and all these
Well,
other new ones?
the thing about the OnlyFans is in the fight business, OnlyFans has been both the blessing and the curse
I
because with
agree.
OnlyFans, they feel like, well, I can go make more money or make just as much money doing that and it's less of a physical risk, for
Right.
lack of a better term. Although I will argue you will make more because of the way the dynamics work in the fight game. Is the reason why boxers is all that. Now they make enough for that one night, and that one night can carry them for several months if it's marketed and promoted right. But
Right.
um, yeah, so underground is not unlike that. I think the one thing that I'm noticing is like, for example, sites like say Session Girls that's come up
Uh-huh.
where it's been like a lot of bodybuilders and stuff like that, and I'm like,
I have
that's
noticed the same thing.
not the same thing. Although I will say lately there's been a run of ladies who's come in recently, like in the last, I want to say 2 months or so,
Yep.
who are not of that type,
Right.
and just trying to make it a little bit more diverse. Because diversity is good for everybody. Because
I
to have
agree.
to have like it's like ice cream. To have 9 versions of vanilla, it's all vanilla. 9 versions of
Right.
chocolate. Nobody's dark chocolate. Nobody's chocolate with peanut butter. Nobody's chocolate with mint chocolate.
Right.
You can't have 9 versions of vanilla and then ten versions of chocolate. That's the if it's all
Exactly.
essentially the same thing, then it's like then what makes you stand out? And then
Exactly.
but you see this in regions too. Like we talked about the girls from LA, the girls from the ones that reach out the most. The girls from LA, girls from Vegas, girls from Florida,
Right.
ladies from New York is kind of
Exactly.
um and, and I'm going to say Texas.
Agree.
Texas. I would say out of all of those regions, Texas is the most diverse as
Mm-hmm.
far as size,
Agree.
weight, ethnicity, hair color,
Agree.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when I look at the others, like I could bring you a girl for like there's certain girls like when I get the bio or the picture, I could tell like without even looking it up, it's got to the point that I could look and say, okay, they're for 1 or 3 places. They're for Vegas, Florida, or California. It's because it's too polished of a look. It's too polished.
Agree.
It's too polished, and it's so polished to the point where it's like, what makes you stand out from any of that? Is nothing. So
Exactly.
it's kind of catch-22. Now I go there, I know I can find talent, but the problem is, it's like it's almost kind of like a cartel in a way because it's like
Right.
they all want to do as much as they can for as little as possible, and it's just like what are we doing? Like what are we talking about? Like uh,
Exactly.
so
I agree with you, man. I completely agree with you. I'm just trying to figure out. I'm like you. It's like a slow decline, like you said. It's becoming like a slow death, man. Matches are getting harder and harder to find because, like you said, fighters are getting busier. Producers' lives are
well, I
getting
mean
busier.
the thing is that now you have more people in on the world planet now than there has been at any other point in the history of time. So you would think, oh well, there's more people. There should be more people willing. Yeah, but there's more opportunities for them to go do other stuff as well. They
Correct.
don't have. Like
Correct.
I said, the biggest peak time for us, I think, as producers was. I'm going to say, and okay, I'll speak to myself and maybe a few other producers that I was in contact with during that time. I'm
Right.
going to say probably about a good 6 to 8 months after the pandemic started. So we're
Right.
going to say so pandemic started in officially in the US case March of 2020. So I'm going to say about September. That
September.
that September to December, January run, especially January, because I remember we had like fights on New Year's Day, like the day after and the third. I mean, it
Exactly. It
was
was
like
crazy.
because by this point, even any financial planner worth their salt, whether you're into Dave Ramsey or not, or any of these other folks, they will always
Right.
tell you one of the first 3 things you want to do in the first thing they'll tell you, save $1,000, have $1,000 saved away for emergency fund for whatever, car breaks down,
Hmm.
what have you. You got to
Hmm.
jump on a cross country flight, whatever. And usually, either the second or third thing is save at least 3 to 6 months worth of your bills and have that in the savings account.
Yep.
So something happens, you get really sick, you get laid off or whatever, you have some kind of cushion. Even
Hmm.
for the best of those, by the time we got to September, folks was nothing, stuff wasn't open, people wasn't traveling. It just so now we start getting the influx of
Hmm.
people who have been like, no, we don't care. No, nothing. The thanks for no thanks. Now all of a
Yep.
sudden, hit up our back channels, hitting up our DMs. Hey, you know, are you guys still looking for um talent, or you guys still looking for models.
Yep.
Because at that point they were willing to do what they had to do to make ends meet. So
Yep.
yeah, so that was probably that one little bump crowd. But now everything's kind of plateaued back out.
Yep.
Kind of what it was before we hit 2020,
Yep.
whereas you have between OnlyFans and all that, you just have so many other things in the quote unquote world and open back up and whatever. And
Right.
so people's out doing whatever they're gonna do.
Okay. Let's see what else. I'm trying to see if anybody's making. I'm not just talking about Captain. I'm not going to talk about a lot. I'm trying to see if there's any news worthy stuff when it comes to the fight world. Period of any sort. I'm struggling to find something too. I'm not gonna
I mean,
lie.
we ain't got it. We ain't got it. We can keep it short. It ain't nothing but the same with me.
I know.
Um, I will say this though. I'm going to give a good wholehearted attempt to try to, because I know my gum road, I hadn't put up anything recently. I'm going to try to have, at least by the time we get to the next show, which is October 9th, which is the one the closest to your birthday.
Bingo.
Um, I'm going to try to have at least one more match. It would be nice to have two, but I'm not going to push myself. I'm going to try to
Don't do
have
it.
at least one out. And it'll be one that is either going to be a new one that we've never released, or is going to be, I actually really need to do one of both. A new one that's never been released, and then one that we had on our old platform,
Ah.
and to just bring it back. So, um, yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah,
Any
I'm going.
update on your any update on your girls? Nothing. I know one time. I know one time you was pushing that Amethyst versus Emma
Yeah.
fight, but I don't think Emma's serious. If you
Okay.
wanted
Okay.
it,
Okay.
I don't think she was. I know you pushed I saw your photo. I didn't say she's going to do it. I'm just saying right now she's not serious. If she's serious, she needs to get back to you. Amethyst is waiting for a fight for a while now. My opinion. We'll see.
I don't even have to. The post says it all. I don't have to.
I know.
Uh,
I'll say it
and
for you.
I
I'll say it for you.
I don't have to say it. It's just you have, and this is kind of veering off, but it still is a path, and it's not so much of Emma, but not just in singling her out, but you have for a lot of people, especially if they've done a couple of cat fights, it can get to the point to where they will
We don't care anymore.
always have a notoriety and a fan base from
True.
that,
Yeah,
to the
that's about
point
it.
to where they can just put up a post or put up a picture or put up a something that they used to do, and it's just going to garner enough traffic and dopamine to make them feel good about themselves for that day. It's a thing, or
I
just
agree.
just to see, or even they could do, or it could even be done just to show to somebody that I still got. Like say if, like say for example, if I was a cat fighter and I was sitting next to you, and if I wanted to show you within an hour I still got it, I could just post up of something that I did. I'd be like, and then it's just gonna be like piranhas, boom. You already know. Some of them are the idiots, and some of them are actual fans. Be like, oh, are you really interested in coming back? I would love to support. I would love to sponsor. And then sometimes with the sponsors, we even have to kind of sift through that, because it'll be like,
True.
if you're serious, there's somebody. I usually there's hardly any fighters that exist in this sphere that does not have a fan, like a diehard fan, at least by some sponsor.
Agree.
Some at least I mean, I'm trying to think of the last person who was like, people was like, I don't care. We're never going to sponsor her again. Like,
I
you
cannot
have
think
to
of one.
be god awful. And you have to be god awful, and you have to burn so many bridges to get
Mm,
to the point where nobody on the planet wants to ever sponsor you again. It's so
very hard to do.
yeah, it's very hard to do. So if you want, like, even when you look at people that say they want, because I think Sunny made an announcement that she's going to be retiring soon.
You want to
Uh,
speak on that a little bit
what
because
is
that
there to
came out of
speak on?
nowhere. I was surprised. I was
What is there
shocked.
to speak on? She said she wanted to retire. Okay, she wants to retire. God bless you. We thank you for what you've
Yeah,
done. what you've done in the industry. I kind of hate it. If
Yeah,
I'm not mistaken, when the last fight she did was the fight she did for Chile when she did against Shakira.
correct,
Yeah,
correct.
so
I'm kind of sad. I'm kind of sad that you went out on that beatdown. you left the
well,
industry on that
Clem,
beatdown.
Clem, 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 you have to pass it with just a little bit more grace because there are some lines once you get psychologically broken. Again, remember
I got
I
you.
said there's three different ways a woman can be defeated. She can be defeated mentally, physically, sexually. And then there's the fourth one. There's a psychologically, where to the point to where it
Mhm.
can trigger PTSD. It can trigger phantom injuries. I don't know if you know
Okay,
about phantom injuries. It could trigger
I
that
don't know about
to
that.
where phantom injuries, like where you play in the sport, to where, say, if you hurt, I'll give you a perfect example of a phantom injury. The first race, I think Jackie Joyner Kersee raced after she had her
Okay,
major leg, to where she was coming around the bend, and you could tell she was starting to tense up because that's where. But it's more psychological, and it became physiological because now what was in the
okay,
brain is now transferring down to the body. So that's why
okay.
I'm like, that's why I'm saying, oh no,
Interesting.
that's why it's for some. And if that just so happened to be it, you know, yeah, it's that we wishing on your future endeavors, but for some that we don't all get to pick out how we want to go out. So,
True.
and
I
that's
was just
always been the
wishing.
nature.
Yeah,
That's always been the
I
nature
got
of
you.
sports.
I just wanted her to
It's
have like
always
one
been the
more
nature of
fight to
sports.
somewhat redeem yourself. So if you lose, it is what it is. But I wanted her to redeem herself to get a better performance. But hey,
Which
we
which goes back to the point why I believe cat fighting is a sport, not a fetish. Because if it was a fetish, you can come back, do a video, da da da, and then just say, all right, this is my swan song. God bless you. Good night.
correct.
On a sport, you may not get. You might get. Everybody wants to have the hey, this is my retirement match, or
It,
this is my
it don't work like
my
that,
farewell tour,
unfortunately.
or whatever. It'd be nice, but for some people, and some people don't even need that. They could be like Roy Williams was. I'm done. In the press
Hmm.
conference, no tour. He didn't do like Krzyzewski did the whole tour. People falling
No,
and
no,
throwing
no. He
flowers
like
and
I'm
all
done.
that. And
No, no,
I'm
I'm done.
done. Come back. Like what? Like coach.
What?
Now I'm a Carolina guy. I wanted to give coach a flower, but it's like for him, some people they need it, some people don't. It's like I'm done. Go to the house. Like Mike Tomlin, I think will be one of them people when he's done, wherever
I'm
at
out.
Pittsburgh or whatever, he's out. I don't see him going to TV. I don't see him
I do
going.
not.
I mean, if another team wants to have him and he still feel like he got something, he can go to another team. But what I'm saying is, once he's done with the NFL, I don't see him going to college. I don't see, as much as I would love for him to go to college, I don't see him
I don't
going to
see it
college.
either.
I don't see him, doing the high school then or whatever. Unless one
Nah.
of his sons is a coach somewhere, he said, "Dad, hey, I just really want you to be on staff to be kind of help me walk me through coaching." I think for his son, he'll do it. Even though he said
Hmm.
he'll never, I think if it's his son asks, I think he'll strongly consider it just because it's his son. But anyway,
Correct.
I digress. That's getting way off on the beaten path. Um, but yeah, I just and that's why I say it's a sport, not a fetish. That's another reason in my mind it's a sport, not a fetish. Because if it was in a perfect world, then you can all see in fetish stuff, you can script it to where it can kind of go however you want to for
Yep.
most of these. And in this case, you didn't, and so with Sonny, or in the case of there was somebody else I was thinking of, and like Fiona, like how you still have people to this day keep badgering this woman
Exactly. The
about
woman has stayed.
badgering. She's already
Yep.
put on.
Put it
She
out
did
there.
a detailed list post of why she didn't want to do it, why she had a. She's thankful that people. It's this balance because you're thankful for being remembered, and you're
Hmm.
thankful for that there will always be people. But at the same time, it's like that's a part of my chapter. That's part of my life. I don't want to do it. Like that's
Exactly.
probably the hardest things for even for us as producers is that when you have a talent and you feel like, especially if you feel like they still have more to give, or you
Correct.
feel like they hadn't hit their peak yet.
Agree.
Um, I may feel that because I've had talent come through. I would say probably about 2/3 of the ladies who come through. I've always felt like they have more to give. I it's very few, if any, that I can say that came in through and then okay, well, they got it all out. There's very few, because of situations and circumstances. But it's one of the things, and I think that's part of the reason why, as I've said, the bar is low to be a legend in this industry.
Very
The bar is
low. I mean,
low.
super low.
You just
Super low,
got to
people.
give at least six. Now,
Yeah.
I will say if we revisit that, Peyton is about hit that number. Paris done about hit that number. If she ain't hit it already,
Yep.
um, Reagan been hit the number and gone
Oh,
on.
her and Sarah both. They both way past that number. Both of these two.
Rampage, I don't know if Rampage is close to that. Rampage, is I know, is at least halfway there.
She's yeah,
Um,
she's halfway there. I think she's like on 3 or 4.
Cause she
Because
did
remember,
Gia,
she had Gia
she had
twice.
Gia, she had
Sexy
Gia
wife.
twice.
Didn't you say? Didn't we have her twice, or is it just
Uh,
once?
I don't know. I thought she had it once.
Okay, so okay, probably once. She had sexy wife. I know she had what's her name? She had Paris
One
too.
one of them fights she did have, cause she was supposed to have it and she got hurt.
Oh yeah. Okay, so it was one fight with Gia.
I wanted she had one fight with Gia, but she didn't have one with Sex. Gia had two with Sex White because remember, Rampage got hurt and Rampage did come in and finish. Which to me, looking back now and seeing how Rampage have evolved, I think
Mm.
would be no. Rampage did fight. Rampage did fight her once. Okay, my bad. Never mind. The Rampage did fight her once.
Don't
Rampage
forget
did.
that she fought Paris Love too.
Yeah.
Finally, at one point, and then of course her latest fight was Phoenix, so it's 4 by my math.
Right, was four. Yeah, so she done got to four. Unless then another one, I'm sure Rampage will let us know if we missed one. So that gets her to four.
So she got
Um,
4.
that's what I'm saying. It don't take much. All you need is six. Of course, GM and past that said Valor only has two in the can. Well,
She has
three,
two,
three,
three,
three. And we
three.
got the Shande Hart, Roxy Hart,
Yeah,
Shande B,
Roxy
Roxy
Hart,
Hart.
Shauna B,
So,
Roxy Hart, what she called herself. And then of course the 2 fights with Gia. The question I want to know is, does anybody want to see a third one between these two? Now that we know that they both have 1 win each.
the way Gia performed, I would say yes. And I think for Valor, now you want to talk about somebody who I personally believe with Valor, that's not, I don't think, want to be the last image people want to have of her. It's how bad.
No,
But it
no,
goes back to where the ring rust is real because she hadn't had one since. And it wasn't for lack of trying.
no,
Valor had
no.
put on, we have put stuff out here on this show, promoting it and trying to find Valor, trying to find, oh my God. And people are just like, they had no desire. And it's like, it was not for lack of trying, which
She
goes
she
back.
was she brought her A game. She just got beat that day. Gia just was was better, right? Let's call it as it
Mhm.
was. Gia was just better.
Right, but I
That's
still
it.
think
It
Russ had
happens.
something to do with it
Oh,
because
it did.
Valor
It
looked
did.
lethargic, Valor looked slow,
Very,
Valor.
very.
It just looked like somebody who hadn't fought in 3 years. That's what it looked
And
like.
it looked like it.
Sorry,
It looked like it. It was.
it looked like somebody that hadn't fought in 3 years, and you can only yeah. So Valor may be the one where it's like I just wish there was a way. I mean, the way this country set up, I wish there was a quicker way to get to Europe instead of spending either 5 to 7 hours in a plane, and or not paying 1,700 to 1,500 dollars just to cross
Agree.
water. Either way it
Exactly.
go, I think if Valor was in Europe, where there's plenty of girls,
There's a lot of
IFW
girls there.
girls, wrestling Monica, she would have been, oh my God,
Oh,
Spice World,
yeah.
like, and
Spice
just let
World,
Valor just have wrestling.
Pamela,
Just have
all of them.
Valor go over there for 3 months and just see what has just been a heart's content. She could
We
easily be
agree.
and see where she's at in the world. I still think Valor is a top 25 talent in the world.
I
And that's
agree.
saying a lot of women like Ivy Satney,
I got
Sativa
Valor in the
Miss,
top 20. Yeah,
Sativa
Sativa
Miss.
Miss,
I think she's easily uh,
top 20. Me.
yeah, she could be top 20, top 25 fighters in the
For
world just
ways.
walking the earth. And it just
Oh, no question.
I just think just having that 3 year layout and just almost like Israel and Sanya, you got caught.
Exactly. Exactly. He had too much. He had too long of a layoff too. He got caught by the guy. Well, the fight was in Australia. I know that much. He got caught by the guy. Simple. Sometimes, as you got, sometimes being a layoff for that long is not a good thing, right? It is not. Not in the fight world, it's not.
Gotta keep
Because
it
like you
still
said, you
sharp.
lose all your endurance. Like you said, it's not the same thing. You get train for all you want, but unless you're in a fight, it's not the same thing. 3 years, 3 months don't matter.
Now, some of that is injury based, and that's a different story.
Yeah, yeah,
You can't fight when you're injured.
yeah. That's true. Now if it's injury based, yeah, but if it's not injury, man, and you haven't had a fight for a while, because promoters are trying to set fights, and this fighter don't want to fight you, blah 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 blah. Sometimes you got to fight people you don't want to fight, right? Just to get back into the thing, both directions.
If I was Balor, you know what I would have borderline did in that 3 year stretch? Wait, I would have went to the NAGA tournament because Boston has one, at least one,
Hmm.
if not two, every year. I would have went to the Boston NAGA tournament, entered
Hmm.
myself in, have some live competition. First of all, and then second of all, even doing that, I would approach some girls that I think it would be good. That hey, would you like to make some extra money on the side? Come on, you see what I'm saying? I'm sure she
Yeah,
can find out of all them people that show up to the NAGA tournament. I'm sure she could have pulled at least one person. You're not
I
gonna convince
agree.
me she couldn't.
I agree. So with that being said, people, 42 minutes. I don't know how we got 42 minutes out of this, but 42 minutes
Hey,
has elapsed,
making
and we
mignon
are
out of
calling it,
mystery.
a night, people.
Yep.
Uh, with that being said, the credits are coming up very soon. As the man said, the next show is going to be October 9th, Monday,
Yep.
October 9th, 2 days before you know whose birthday. I'm not going to mention it. He already said it.
Yeah.
Uh, with that being said, Clem underscore Akufo IG and Clem Akufo on well, I'm not gonna call it Twitter, it's X now. It's officially X.
How come I got X on mine and Twitter on yours? Okay. Cause whether X and IG, you know. Now what's so funny is we didn't discuss football. Both of my teams lost.
Oh, don't worry, we're doing that in the sidebar. I don't want to bring
We'll
it up
do that in
now.
the sidebar. I was like, what in the world? I was like, what's going on? Yeah, so but yeah, but next
We don't
show
need to
is
talk about that.
October 9th. This so
9:30 p.m. Eastern time. You people know the schedule. 8:30 Central, 6:30 in the Pacific. And you Hawaii people, that'll be 2 o'clock. Not 2 o'clock, 4:30.
prayers to Maui.
Yes, prayers for Maui, prayers to Libya, prayers to Tunisia. I mean, is it Libya? Who else was it? I know they had some things. Libya, somebody else. Anyways, prayers to everybody, man. Man, as it's officially fall, people. We're now in officially fall, man. So take care of yourselves. Make sure you take your flu shots. That's important right now for people being sick and viruses and all that stuff. With that being said, Claus Webb, Clement Kufo. Until next time, everyone, we are out. Make sure you watch the video. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, even you overseas people. Peace.
Peace, 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 peace. I'm trying to make sure I get the cover right this time. Peace.